Welcome to Earth Engine tutorial episode 58. In this video, I'm going to show you how to load vector data into GMap without coding. So in the past videos, I already show you how to use, for example, shapefile or geojson with GMap, but you need to do a little bit coding in order to add the data to the map. You can also convert the data to Earth Engine object or Earth Engine feature collection if you want. I think it's episode number 10, so you can take a look at this one if you want to know how to do that using coding. But in this example, I'm also going to show you how to do that. So, and first let's go to the website to download the notebook example. And if you go to the gmap.org, then click notebooks, scroll down to find number 58, add vector, and then you can click this icon here to download the notebook to your computer. Since we are using some of the sample data sets in this video, you can use your own data set if you want, but if you also want to use the sample data set, you will need to go to the GitHub repository. So you can go here, you can click the link, or you can right click to open a new tab, and then from here you can click the code button, and you can download this one as a zip file to your computer. So you can download this one to your computer, and then you unzip the repository, or you can also use Git. If you know how to use Git, you can just Git clone, okay? And then on your computer, you can open your terminal to look at to clone the repository. Since I already have this on my computer, and I'm just going to open Jupyter Notebook directly within the repository. So once you are located within the repository, you can right click, open terminal. If you're using Mac or Windows, you can also open your command prompt, and then you can navigate to the directory. Once you are here, you can conda activate and GE. So this is the conda environment that we have been using, and then just type Jupyter Notebook to open notebook within your browser, and you can click. So this is the notebook interface, and then just click examples, notebooks, scroll down to find number 58. And so this example we're going to use here. On the left side here, you will see the table contents. So this has two sections. The first one is for IPyLib. The second one is for the forum. Okay, so the forum you can use that one in Google Colab, but for the IPyLib lab, you can use in Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. Okay, so first we need to import the library, and I'm going to show you here. Once you import the library, although you can see the source code here, let me clear all the outputs and then start from scratch. So once you import the library, and we can actually create a new map. So you can just type map equal to gmap.map parentheses and then map. Okay, so the first I'm going to show you how to add vector data without coding, because the example here you see a lot of source code, but it doesn't have to be this complicated. You can directly use the toolbar to load vector data. So if you hover your mouse to the right, upper right corner, and then use second row, the second icon, open local vector and raster data. So if you click, it will pull up a dialog. So from here, you can load all kind of vector data. And so on the tab here, we have 5 options. The first one is a shapefile. So you can load any shapefile to the map if you want. And you can also do geostation. So first, let's just click this one, select, and then you can navigate to the directory. From here, you can select whatever file you want. So I'm just going to maybe select countries, and then select, click the select button. So from here, you can enter a layer name. So this is the layer name, because when you have a bunch of layers, you might want to have something be meaningful. And then you can also click this one whether or not you want to convert this one to Earth Engine feature collection. If you're just trying to display the data, then probably you don't need to convert to Earth Engine feature collection. But if you want to do some computation and then you want to use that with other Earth Engine dataset, then you might want to convert. Okay, so in this simple example, I'm just going to just click apply, And okay, so once you apply, now we can simply just close this one. So the data has been loaded to the map, and if you have your mouse on the lower right corner here, you will see the attribute table. See, this is basically automatically depends on what shapefile file you're using. All the attribute table, the properties will be showing up in here. And if you move your mouse, right, you can anyway. So this is just the default style. If you're using a vector data or GeoJSON, it's going to be a black outline and also some kind of transparency within the fill color. So if you have a mouse, you will be able to see all the attribute table directly within here. And if you want, you can also click this one to hide this one at the lower right corner. So if your vector data has a lot of columns, it might occupy the right side of the map, so it might be overwhelming. So you can, if you don't need that anymore, you can just click close. It's going to close this one. So up to you. And it's very simple and easy to use, right? So you don't really need to do any coding, except that you need to create a map, and after that everything else is pretty much automatic. So this is an easy way that you can create a map and also load vector data. So the next one, I'm going to show you how to load a GeoJSON. So again, I create a new map, and then I click this one, and you can click GeoJSON, select, and then data, right? Again, you can choose whatever data you want. I can simulate still using the countries, or maybe I can try this one, see if it works. Okay, select, apply. So this one is a line GeoJSON. So you can see here, this is all the cable lines between different countries and continents. If you move your mouse, hover your mouse, you will see that whatever line is selected is going to be change the thickness of the line. And lower right corner here, you can also see the attribute table, right? The attributes for this specific line. So if you have your mouse and you click, it's going to bold the line. And again, this is simple and very easy to use. You can collapse this one, and you can click again, right? So no coding required, just click the button. Next one, let me show you here. You can also do vector. So shapefile and GeoJSON are two very commonly used vector data format, but there are also a lot of other data formats out there. So behind the scene, Gmap is using GeoPandas as the kind of a data engine. So anything that can be opened using GeoPandas, you will be able to also open from here. But this one requires GeoPandas install within your Conda environment. If you don't have that one, you will need to install. Otherwise, you won't be able to do this one. So I can select, and this one is basically showing all the file extensions. Again, I can just go to the data, and maybe it's just again select this one, or you can select a swap file or whatever file you want. I can again change this one. So this, if there is a swap file, it's going to be the same as I showed you earlier. But if there's other vector data format, it's going to convert that one to GeoJSON and then add the GeoJSON to IPyLeaflet. So again, I can just click OK, and then you have this one. So this is how you can add vector data to the map. And so earlier we didn't use any like convert to feature collection, but if you want, you can do that. So let me create this one again, open. So this time we are going to convert this one to a feature collection. So you will see the difference. Why we sometimes want to convert that one to a feature collection. So again, check this box and then hit apply. This one might take a little bit longer because the data need to be sent to the Earth Engine server and then return back. So now if you convert to Earth Engine feature collection, you won't be able to see actually the lower right corner, the attribute table. So in order to do that, you need to go to the toolbar and then click the inspector, and from here if you click, it's going to query the Earth Engine data and then return the result. So this is essentially the same thing that you see lower right corner when you add that one as a swap file without converting to Earth Engine feature collection. So now this one is a feature collection, so you can actually use this one to do all kind of computation using Google Earth Engine. But that's not the focus of this tutorial. So I'm just going to show you how you can do that easily without having to write any line of code. So, and once you convert this one to a feature collection, if you want to actually access this data set, you can simply map dot last I think it's last EE data, and then Alt Enter. You should be able to actually get access to this feature collection, and then you can do all kind of filtering. So basically, this is a pointer to this feature collection. You can also basically map dot last EE layer, Alt Enter, and you will be able to see, for example, what kind of a layer, what's the name, and also the URL that you how this data layer is being displayed here on the map. Okay, so this is how you can do that. But you can also, if you want to change the symbology, so you can go to here and then open this one. If you click this one, it's open this dialog box that allows you to change the symbology. Okay, so this one is only available for Earth Engine feature collection. So you can simply, for example, I'm going to change the color to red color, and I also want to maybe change the opacity. I just want the outline. Then you can simply do this one, hit apply. Then you should be able to see right directly. Now you can see this one. I can change the symbology. If you also want the fill color to be different, for example, blue color, and then maybe 50% opacity, hit apply. And you should be getting one shortly, right? So this is how easy it is. You can add vector data and convert to Earth Engine feature collection. But keep that in mind, if you need to convert to feature collection, the file size should not be too big. Okay, if your file is larger than 5 megabytes something, sometimes it won't work. So this is only for small data set only. If you have a large vector data, you probably want to upload data to your Google Earth Engine account using the JavaScript code editor. And lastly, I'm going to show you here maybe the other one. I might make another video, but I just going to give you a quick overview of what it looks like. So again, we create a new one and then open. So CSV. So CSV means if you have a CSV file with a longitude and latitude, you want to load it one to the map. You can also do that without writing any line of code. So again, I'm going to select, go to the sample data folder. So here I have a cities.csv. So once you select, once you click, it's going to automatically recognize the column name. So, and you need to specify which column is the longitude, which column is the latitude, and also the label. That means when you want to, because this is basically a point data layer. So when the user click the mouse on the marker, you want to show the a label. Then you can select which column you want to use. So I'm going to use the name column. Also, you can add, enter layer name, hit apply. Then you should be able to get it one display on the map as a marker cluster. So if you have too many points, then you will see something like this. But this is what it looks like. So it locked up our cities. So if you click on any marker, it's going to show you the name. So this one comes from the name column. If you zoom out and zoom in, you'll be able to see each individual point. So if you click, you should be able to see the column. So if you zoom out to the global scale, you should be able to see all the points. So this is how you can load a CSV with longitude and latitude to the map without doing any coding. Okay, you can also convert that one to a feature collection if you want. So again, I can pick this one CSV and then select the same data set. And you can select as default. Check this one, convert to feature collection, and then maybe cities. Hit apply. So if you convert to a feature collection, you won't have the marker cluster. So the marker cluster, that one is for geojson data only. So you can turn this one off. And this right now, these points are actually Earth Engine feature collection. So you can use the point feature collections to do computation with other Earth Engine datasets. Okay, so this is all for loading the data without coding. But certainly behind the scene, you might want to, if you want to customize things, if you are not satisfied with all the default visualization, then you can use some coding actually to do what you want. But I'm going to quickly go through some examples in here. Basically, these are equivalent to what we did earlier, but behind the scene, this is how it's being done using what kind of functions to add vector data. So the first example here is going to show you how we can add a GeoJSON. So we create a map, and then you can define a GeoJSON. So the GeoJSON can be a file stored on your local computer. It can also be a file somewhere. If you have a HTTP URL, you can also directly use this one. So this URL come from my GitHub repository, and I'm going to show you how if you use GitHub a lot, and if you see some sample data on anybody's account, you can actually use that directly to load the data to your map. So I'm going to show you here. For example, if I go to my GitHub repository and then click the examples folder, data, right? So in here I have this one. So if you click this one, keep it in mind, don't copy this URL, it doesn't work. So you need to come to this page, and then you probably want to maybe just click here, right click the download icon. So if you, for example, if you click the download button, this one is going to take you to another page. So it must be this URL. So this is basically the direct URL to this GeoJSON. So, and then you can copy the URL and paste that one to here, and then pass it as a variable. Okay, so don't copy this URL, this one, and it won't work. Okay, because this is still not a direct link. It's still a link on GitHub repository. Okay, so once you have the URL, you can just call the function add geojson, and then within there you can pass the input data. Also, you can specify a layer name. That's it. So basically, you only need one line of code. You can directly pass the URL within here if you want, right? And then this is exactly the same that what we did earlier, how to load a GeoJSON align features to the map, right, without doing any coding. And then you can click here, but this one here only can be used for Earth Engine data layers. So once you click this one, if the data layer is not Earth Engine data layer, it's going to automatically add another icon here. So in here, then you can turn this one on and off. Again, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can hover your mouse. It will be able to show you the attribute at the lower right corner here. So this is how you can add a GeoJSON. There are a lot more things you can customize. So if you put your cursor within the parenthesis and then press Shift tab on your keyboard, you should be able to see all the function definitions. So you can see what kind of parameters you can provide, so that if you want more customization, right? By default, you only need to actually this is the only required parameter in GeoJSON. That means you just need to pass an URL and then call this function. Everything else you can just use the default one, and it will just load the data nicely directly here. So this is one simple example how to add a GeoJSON. You can also add a thread file, right? Again, you can pass the URL. Okay, this is still using the GeoJSON, but it's we provide another parameter here called field color. That means if you have a polygon data set, you might want to have a field polygon with different color, for example, a random color. So this is how you can do that. Easy, right? Pass the URL, and then you just in here provide a list of colors, right? Red, yellow, green, and orange. And then when you hover your mouse, it's going to basically change the opacity, right? So original opacity I think is 0.1, and then when you hover your mouse, it's going to change to 0.4. So this is a way that you can do that. Everything is default, but you can customize. I'm going to show you later how you can, if you want to specify other color, you can do that as well. So this is just a random color that you can fill this one. So if you run this one again, the result might be different. So we can maybe try again. Right? It looks pretty much similar because the color is very light in here. But again, this is just how to add GeoJSON. So the next one here is still add GeoJSON, but shows you how to customize a function called style callback. Style callback function is used to apply a style to every feature, right? So in here we're using a countries.geojson, and within there we might have maybe around 200 features. And if you want to apply something specifically to each feature, then you can define a function here, right? So random color, and then within the parenthesis you need basically the argument is just each feature, And then what you want to do, I want to set the color as black, so the color basically is the outline. And then I also want to set the fill color. So the fill color can be a random, any random color from this in here. And then you pass this one to the style callback. And if you execute, the result is going to be pretty much the same in here. But you can certainly customize this one if you want. So the random choice, if you want to add more color, you can. So for example, I can maybe change the color to cyan. And if you want again, you will see slightly different color here. I can maybe just change to white, and maybe the other one black, for example. And right, so you can, this is easily how you can customize, change the color, right? So some of those are black, and some of them are orange color, right? If you want to basically apply a style to each feature, this is what you can do here. And the last one here shows you how more like complicated way if you want to style. And also when you hover your mouse on the feature, you want to change the style. This is how you can do that. Again, we're going to add the URL, and then this one is the style, the initial style you want to use, right? We're going to change the color. So the color, you can also pass in X color code, right? RGB, right? So this one would be FF means the color would be blue, and then the weight is basically the thickness of, maybe they may execute this one to show you the output first, right? So this one is slightly different from the default style we use. If you don't customize, by default you'll be going this black color. So this one here we change to the color to blue, right? So the outline, the color here is blue, and then also the thickness is 2, right? Default it will be 1. Opacity means 1. That means the outline is not transparent. Also, whether or not you want to fill the color, so 2. And then what color you want to fill, this one here also we want to fill the color with blue. And the fill opacity by default is 0.1, so it means 10%. So this is why you're seeing in here, right? So you change, if you don't have your mouse on any feature, you will see it's kind of like transparent, but it's actually not. It's 10% opacity transparent. Once you hover your mouse, right? So the hover style is another argument that you can pass into the function. Once you hover your mouse, I'm going to change the fill opacity to 0.7, then, right? So this is what it looks like. So when I hover mouse, it will be changed to 0.7. You can certainly change this one to 1.0 if you want, right? So if I execute this one again, and now if I have a mouse, it's going to be totally opaque. That means because the fill opacity is 1%, right? So from 0 all the way to 1. And so this is how you can, if you want more complicated or customized way, you can certainly use this one to pass your arguments, right? How you want to see that initially, and also when you hover your mouse, what you want to do. This is how you can customize. So shows you kind of more complicated example if you want to do that. Okay, so this is how you can add the GeoJSON and change the style. Next one is add a shape file. So this is also very simple. You define the input data can be a file from your computer, or it can also be from URL, but it can be a zip file on the internet. But to be make it simple, I'm just going to load a file directly from my computer, right? A H3 swap file, and then you can just add the URL. Also pass the layer name. Again, you can shift tab here to look at the parameters. You also have the style, hover style, style callback, fill color, and the info. Also, you can have the info mode, right? On hover, that means by default, when you hover your mouse, it's going to show you in here. But if you want to change the heavier, you can also do that. So I'm going to again shift tab and take a look at this one. So it's called info mode. If you scroll down here to see the information, so the info mode can be either on hover or on click, right? So on click, it means you only want to show the attribute table when you click on the feature. So if you want, you can change this one, and then come here, comma, info mode equal to on click. Okay, and then alt enter. So now if you see when I hover my mouse on the map, it doesn't show that one, right? So I need to actually to click here in order to see that. So if I click here again, right, you will only update this one. So this is if you don't want to like hover mouse to see the attribute, only when you click, you can do that this way. So this is how you add a shape file. You can also add a KML. Again, this one relies on GeoJSON, GeoPandas. So you need to make sure that you install GeoPandas on your within your contact environment. Otherwise, it won't work. So behind the scene, all the functions, whatever vector data format you are using, behind the scene is being converted to GeoJSON and then add the GeoJSON to the map. Okay, so you want to keep it in mind. If your file is too big, sometimes you might take a long time to actually load the data to the map. But if they're small one, you can actually do it easily. Lastly, add vector. So the add vector data, this one you can add all kinds of data. You can add GeoJSON, you can add any data format supported by GeoPandas. You can just use this function add vector, and then again those parameters will be pretty much very similar to what we used earlier, right? So shift enter, then you should be able to see the style, right? Again, you can customize if you want. If you just simply want black, you can keep this one as default. You can also just pass one color for black, and then alt enter. Right, so you only see the black color. This is how you can do that easily. So this is those example for IPy leaflet, but you can also do that for the volume, right? So for the volume package, if you use that with Google Colab, so Google Colab, you won't be able to use IPy leaflet. And if you use volume, you can do this very similar thing. You can create a map, and then you can define a variable and then point to the file path. For example, vector data, SSP, JSON or KML, and then similarly you can use the add swap file to load the data to the map. And I'm just going to execute here quickly. So now you can see you just need one line of code to actually to add the data to the map, and then you can use this to turn the data layer on and off. Certainly in volume you can also customize the style, but I have not implemented that yet. But at least you have this kind of ways that you can, if you want to see the data, you can do it this way. So KML, GeoJSON, or vector. Any other data type you want, you can also use the vector. So that if you want, you can do that as well. Okay, so that's all for this video, and I hope you find it useful, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.